This episode of the Digital Tourism Show was brought to you today by Rentrax, fully customizable rental management systems for tour operators. You can book your free demo at rentrax.com. Hi there, my name is Chris Torres of the Tourism Marketing Agency and welcome to another Digital Tourism Show. In this episode, I'm going to be taking you through step by step how I edit and create video for our clients' campaigns. We're going to be doing this live, so I'm going to be sourcing footage, audio tracks, you'll see me editing it all together and then producing the final result. So although a lot of you have been asking me over Facebook and over YouTube and just general advice through email of how you can create effective videos for your campaigns, and I'm hoping that this video, one of many of these videos that I'm hoping to produce in terms of how do you edit video, will help you along the way of understanding basically how easy it is to actually create these videos. Just with a little know-how and a little bit of guidance, you can create these as well. And over the next 40 minutes to an hour, you will see how I go from nothing to creating the video from scratch all the way through to its end. So this is a really good episode if you want to know how to create video for your marketing campaigns, your YouTube channels, your website, etc. And showing you the different formats as well, either landscape or square for things like Facebook advertising. So welcome to the Digital Tourism Show. Hi everyone, and welcome to this first workshop on how you can create effective video ads for your Facebook campaigns, for your YouTube channels, for your website, or whatever you wish to use them for. This is going to be a series of 2 or 3 videos. The first one I'm going to show you is one of our clients has asked us to create a video ad for a campaign. This is for an Irish client, and we're going to show you the process that we are going to go through in creating this video. Now, this video has not been created ahead of time. We are doing this as we are recording it, so you'll be able to see the process we go through and basically see how easy it is to edit video together using the right tools. Now, the tools that we are using, as you may or may not recognize through this recording, I am on a Mac, so I will be using Mac-based software. There are plenty of really good alternatives out there for PC. Adobe Premiere is one of the industry standards, which you can easily get on a Mac or a PC. That would be one if you want slightly more high-end. You can use things like iMovie, which the program that I'm going to be using, which is Final Cut Pro, which is available on the Mac, which is very similar to iMovie, but just adds a lot more features and pro features. But it's still a very good piece of software to use. But you can use things like iMovie, and there are other alternatives out there, which I will post into the comments below. Now, the reason why I'm using Final Cut is I think it's one of the easiest tools out there to learn and to use. You do have to be on a Mac, as I say, but if you're used to iMovie or that type of thing, then you'll easily pick up Final Cut Pro. I know Final Cut Pro was one of these bits of software that back in the day would cost £2,000 or $2,000 to purchase this one piece of software to allow you to edit. Now you can now get Final Cut Pro with unlimited updates on a Mac for something like £200, £250 or dollars. So if you're editing lots of video, it is well worth paying that $200 or whatever it is to get it. I highly recommend it, and it's what I use for all my videos, including this as well, putting these tutorials together. So I'm going to start off by giving you a bit of a rundown on what we've been briefed on. So we have a Facebook campaign that we're doing, and part of that Facebook campaign is to run ads using video. So the client does not have any stock video footage. Or video footage that he's taken on his own. So we are going to be sourcing stock footage, free stock footage you can easily get online, download, and use that within your video campaigns. We're also going to be using stock audio, so finding a good audio track that will allow us to edit our video to, and then create the ad from that. So the first thing we're going to do is look and source for video. So I'm going to just bring up my browser, and there's a few websites that you can use to download footage from, but there's 2 that I normally turn to on a regular basis. One is called Pixabay, You can use this for photos, illustrations, vectors, even has music on it as well, and videos. But I'm going to use this for videos, so I'm going to search, just select videos, and I'm going to search for Ireland. So you can see here, these ones here at the top and probably right down the bottom, there's none at the bottom, but at the top, these are paid for ones. You can see here, these are go to iStock Photo. Use this code, you get 20% off. But if you scroll down, you'll see here we have 33 videos of Ireland, and you can easily use these for your video campaigns or whatever it is you're searching for. So you just scroll over, it gives you a little brief thumbnail of the video, of what you can use. Some really nice drone footage of some places in Ireland, some nice waterfalls, the cliffs right next to Irish Sea, which we're going to be using because we're doing a video on the West Atlantic Way. So all you need to do is basically find videos that you like using these tools, click on the video, and then free download, and you can download the full HD quality version of that video. Just going to allow that, and there we go. So you can download that video, and then you can just go back and find different bits of video that you would like. So I'm just going to do that just now. I'm going to click on that one. May as well go for that one, this one. And I'm just going to go around selecting some videos which look quite good. I might not use all of these in what I edit, but if it looks good enough, then I will. We're not going to use doubling because that's not part of what we need to do. We'll use that. Use that. And I think that will do for there. So you can see here we have these different videos. I'm just going to download all of these. Select them all, download. As I say, I'm doing this as I'm recording, so things may change as we are doing this, or may have to source other videos, but this is basically the process that I go through. Download. So I'm just downloading all the footage that I can. Okay, so that's all the footage from that one. Let's do a wee search for Irish in case there's anything different comes up. There's some river dance stuff, so let me click on that one. Everything else is pretty much the same, so let me look at that river dance one. I think that'll be good enough. Let me download that. So I've downloaded all those ones, so let me close those windows. And I'll go into Pixels, which is the other one. Let's do a search for Ireland. You may get some of the same footage, and here's some really nice footage, the looks of it, of some various places. So I'm just going to click on all of these. See what we've got. Anything that looks good? No, I don't like that. That looks quite nice. That looks excellent. Me walking one, yep, and that one. And that one. So let me see what I've got here. Let's do a wee play. Some drone footage of the cliffs. Yep, I think that's nice. So again, download. It's as easy as that. You just basically download them. One of the waves crashing against the rocks. Yep, let's go for that. So what I'm going to do is, oh, that one's not online anymore. Let's do a wee refresh just to see. There we go. We just needed a refresh, so I'm going to download that. I'm just going to download all these videos. That looks like Dublin. Don't want Dublin because that's not the area that we're looking for. I don't know where that is, but we'll find out. I don't know if this will tell us. It's just somewhere in a town, it says. So what we might need to do is when we use some of this footage, obviously the customer will just tell us if it's actually footage, it's actually part of what he wants. It'll be easy for us to basically edit out as well, so or swap them around. But I'm just going to download all the footage that I've just seen there. Okay, so that's me downloaded all the footage. So that's going into my downloads folder. Yep. I'll collate all that information and put it all in a folder shortly. So I've downloaded some footage. Easily found stuff there. So again, if I was looking for, you may have seen a video I put together for Curiosity. We may do that one as actually one of the video tutorials. I'll put a link below. That was all using stock footage. Again, following the same process, putting music to it. So again, if I do Scotland, you can see here there's lots of footage, free footage of Scotland, various things, Highland cows, or as we call them, Highland cows. So there's various bits of footage there, and we could do a search for Egypt. There's some various footage of Egypt coming up, 14 free videos. So again, you might not find exactly what you want. There are other things out there. If you do a Google search for free stock video footage, you'll find other places that does this as well. But these are the two ones I normally go to. If you do want to buy footage, iStock is probably one of the best ones out there. It's one of the cheapest ones out there. But we're going to do this just purely showing you free footage. Okay, so I've got my videos. We'll collate them in a minute. I'm going to search for music now. So I'm going to go to Audio Jungle. And let's search for music. So I want Irish. So this will allow you to view music, which you can purchase for very little, $29, $39, $20. It's not a lot of money. So let's listen to a couple, see if anything sort of sticks with us. So we're looking for something that will work for anything up to a 60-second ad, anywhere between 30 seconds and a 60-second ad. We want to add a little bit of excitement, maybe some of that video footage, going quickly and slowly during the footage, and then some text on top of that as well, just to highlight for the ad experience. So I'm going to go for the length. I'm going to put in 0.60 for 60 seconds. And let's see what comes up. So let me just play a couple. Close to maybe what we're looking for, but not quite. Let me try this one. Not bad. Let's see.
Audio Jungle.
Maybe a bit too Irish, if you know what I mean. It's maybe just too twee. Let me try this one.
Audio Jungle.
Yeah, I quite like this one. So that's pretty much what we're looking for. That would actually go with the Irish dancing sort of video footage that I got as well. So you can see how we have a longer version, a shorter version, and then a shorter version still. So I'm going to listen to this one. This one is probably sort of 30, 40 seconds long. So I'm going to listen to that one. Liking it so far. Yeah, I like that. So I think what we're going to do is purchase this one, and we'll use this within our video ads. So what I'm going to do is purchase this, collate what we have, and then we'll go into how we're going to edit this together. So we have collated all the files. So we have all the videos here. I've even got the client's logo, because no doubt need that. And here is the music that we just purchased. You can see here, anything you buy music on Audio Jungle usually comes with an MP3 and a WAV file. Using either or is completely fine. I tend to use a WAV file when I'm editing, if your software allows you to import that in. It's got a slightly higher quality to it. So me being a perfectionist, I just tend to use the WAV file, but using an MP3 is completely fine. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to close that down, and I'm going to launch Final Cut Pro. Again, this is the software I use. The methods that I'm going to use in this will be very similar to a lot of other Final Cut Pros. so don't worry about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go full screen just so you get the entire screen of what we've got. So the first thing I want to do is create a new library. So a library is a collection of all your files and everything for that particular video. It's the way Final Cut Pro keeps everything together. So all your files, all your videos, all your audio, when you've imported them in, it actually takes a copy of them and adds them into this one big folder. So anytime you edit anything, you can always have the original ones to go back to. So I'm going to create a library and I'm going to call this Irish Experience Tours Facebook ad. That's the name of the client. So I'm going to call that, save that down as a library. And then I'm going to add in a new project. So I'm going to go new project. And the project is basically the video that you're editing, the actual main thing. So I'm just going to call this Irish Experience Tours, or IET, Facebook ad landscape. So what we're actually going to do is show you first creating the video in landscape. So we have a landscape version, a standard video and landscape in HD quality. But then we're also going to, once we've finished editing that, duplicate it and create a square version. Now, square videos are better for things like Facebook ads and Instagram ads because they basically take up more real estate on the Facebook feeds, which means it makes the video bigger, makes your brand and your video stand out more, and various other things as well. So we always edit in landscape first and then duplicate that and then do some edits to make it work as a square format, which we'll show you how to do that in this video. So I'm just going to click OK. So we now have, as you can see here, this is a project. I'm just going to click on the project and I'm just going to make sure modify. We can see we here have this set at 1080p, which is HD quality, 920 by 1080 pixels. I'm going to change the rate to 24 frames per second, which is a sort of standard frames per second, and everything else is pretty much just going to stay the same. So I'm going to hit OK. So we now have the project and the library ready for all the files. So next thing I'm going to do is import all those files. So I'm going to click the little arrow, which allows you to import files, which is under videos. And I'm basically going to import everything here. I'll come back to, in fact, let's just open up the audio. And I'm going to take in short version 1 wave and the full version wave. So we can see here it actually tells you the full version is 1 minute and 8 seconds, slightly longer than what we're going to go for. And the short version is 34 seconds. So this is probably the one we're going to use. Now, we could maybe edit this down to 60 seconds, but I think with the limited footage we have, and just to make it really quick, we're going to stick with the 34 seconds, but we'll import both in just to be on the safe side. So you can see here, this is importing in. All the files are here. Here's the logo, there's the audios, etc. And you can actually see here, if you click this little icon here, which is your sort of background tasks, if anything was still copying in, this would tell you. Or if you're rendering anything, this will tell you. It's got a nice big green tick, so this means that all the files have instantly been copied into the folder. Now, when it comes to editing files, I always suggest and always advise that you edit to the music. So you really want to find music first, get that in there, and then edit your footage to the music. Edit to the beats. Now, if you've got fast music, you maybe want to show fast moving shots and fast cuts compared to maybe slower music and go into a slower beat. So always get the music first and edit to the music. It makes it more professional. So what I'm going to do is import the audio, the 30-second one, and that is there. Sometimes this will come up because it will think you're trying to import something differently. If it does, just say no, you still want to keep it 1080p and 24 frames per second. So I'm just going to play that and make sure it's the right one. Yep. Oh, that's fine. So that's in now. And then we can edit around this as well. Again, we may go for the longer version, but we're going to stick with this one just now. So again, we've got various bits of footage we can use. So it's basically all you're really doing is adding it in to the track, on top of the track, and then editing to the footage. So what I'm going to do is just zoom in on this a little bit more so we can see. So it makes it bigger. So you can see here, here's our audio track. I've just zoomed in. and you can sort of get an idea where the beats are. So let me just play it a second before we start adding video to it. So let me just go. So maybe every 2 to 4 beats. So I'll count this out as you're listening to it. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you get the idea. That's the sort of beat that you go to. So let me go back to the start and let me just pick some footage. So how does it start again? Okay, so we may want to maybe start off with a landscape. That one there. So we can just drag this down. There's a couple of things you can do. You can just drag this down. You see that that's obviously very long. And then you just pull the yellow bars to make it shorter. And that's to go in time with the beat. You can also do that here as well. You can pull the bars and just take a section of any bits of footage that you want. Or you can just do it here. As I say, this is what I'm just doing. So I want this to be maybe 4 beats. So let me just count this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And ready, you want something to be on that beat there. So I'm just going to move that up to there, and everything just snaps. So I've put my line there, everything just snaps, boom, and you're fine now. So let me just change the footage to something else. Let's go for the crashing waves. So maybe just go next with the crashing waves, start with that. Again, far too long. We may actually need to use the longer version of this video, so we're just going to see what this looks like. So let me just play it. Obviously this is very rough. We're going to keep it very straight cuts, and let's just have a look to see what this looks like with the beats. So yeah, you see that change happened right on the cuts. Let me just go back. So you can see that there. So watch how it changes on the beat. And then there'll be the next one. So let's look at some other footage, see if something looks good. I'm just going to fit this to a window so you can get a better look at it. Yeah, that's quite nice. Let's go for that. Or shall we go for that first? Yeah, let's go for this one. Again, this may get rejigged. Now you can see here, some of these have little bits of audio, even though they're silent, they may have some audio in it. So what you can actually do is select them and then detach audio. And then you can see that that one has a couple of bits of audio too. You can just delete them. So you can actually detach audio from video footage. So you can then cut that audio as well separately to the actual footage that you're editing. Because some of this footage may come, I know the girls with Irish dancing actually has an audio track to that. So again, it's just how you remove that as well. So let's just see how that looks. Yep, so we want that on the beat. Move that in. Again, you can zoom in even further. If I just zoom in, you can see there's the sort of start of the beat there. So if you really want to be precise, you can move that up. That's actually just a little bit after, which we don't want. It will go to every millisecond, so it's actually just going to be slightly before. So you can just leave that as it is. Let's have a wee look at that now. Maybe start bringing in some nice footage here. Some waterfalls. And you can see that that's where the music really starts to build up. So let me just play that again. Cutting the beat. And the music starts to get really sort of lively. So I think that would be a great place to put in the girls doing the Irish dancing. So let me just drag a bit of that in. You can see that that's far too much. You can actually see there's the audio file in there as well. So what we're going to do is just detach that audio, and then we're going to delete that because we don't want that playing over the other audio, and it will just be a little bit messy. So let me just go back and play the whole thing again, leading up to where the girls are dancing. Then we stop there for the next beat. I think that works perfectly well. So let me just get the right part of the beat. Don't think I've got that quite right. Not happy with that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's round about there. I'm just going to move this in. So there's a couple of things you could do. You can basically just go to the end of this. This is quite long. And then drag it all the way across to basically go to where the line is. Or this has a blade, just like you would do with splicing up real old footage on old film. It has a little sort of blade here you can use. You can basically just click on where the line is, and that will actually cut it there, and then you can just delete that part of it as well. So I've actually just cut as if you're cutting film. So we've got the different bits of footage there, leading into the dancing, the people dancing. Right, so let's just get some more nice footage. Unfortunately, we don't have lots of ones with people, which is unfortunate. But we'll see what we can get. So again, it will be limited to what you've got. If you're taking your own footage, the process is exactly the same. So let me just sort of show you. So we're going to stop that there. In fact, I think 34 seconds might just be a good amount of time. I'm going to take one because this one's got someone walking, I believe. Let's see what that looks I think I might actually have that for when it goes off. It's not the greatest of footage, but let's just take the last little bit. It looks like she's holding something which I don't really want. Seems to be walking a little bit odd. So let's just do that. I may need to extend this slightly. Let's see what that looks like. Not perfect. So let's try and see what that looks like. We'll take one of some more hills. Again, just detach the audio. Don't want any little bits of audio just creeping in. And we'll use this one. Again, I'm just randomly dropping in some footage that I think will work just for this video to show you. So that's not going to go quite to that line, so it should go to there. There we go. And basically, as you move your arrows in the keyboard, if you have arrows in the keyboard, you just do that and it'll go to each frame. So each one of them is a frame, just like you would do in animation, a second of animation. So each one of them is a frame. Allows you to just be a little bit more precise. Let's see what else we've got. Some nice footage of this as well. That's really nice. Let's go for some of that. Again, stop about there. I'll use my blade, just cut there. Take that. It's starting to take shape. Use some of that. That doesn't have an audio track because there's no line there. Okay, I cut there. Let's find another bit of footage. Yeah, let's go for that. It does have a wee line there, which means there's an audio track, so let's detach that. That's actually got fast footage. I don't want that. That just doesn't go with it. Doesn't fit in, so I'm not going to use that. That's sort of sped up footage. Let's see what this one's like. Shall we get some? Let's get some castle footage. Again, I don't actually know if this castle is where our client is actually doing tours in, but we can always replace it. We give them a first version of the cut. Cut it there. So we're starting to come down in our music in terms of its crescendo, or whatever you call it. Not a musician. Let's use some of that. No, not happy with that one. Don't want to really use that. Let's see what else we can use. That one's got a boat. Let's have a look. Maybe use that as the boat comes in. Just a little bit in compared to where it was. See how that looks. Make sure there's a little gap there. Just might make sure that's butted up. In fact, we can actually see there, this one's got lines in it, so it's not quite fitting. I think that's the only one that does that. So let me just double check. So yeah, everything's fitting in width and height wise. Apart from that one bit there so far that I've used. Just going to double check. So this one is slightly, it's got basically bars in it as well. You sometimes get movies. So we've got this scale function, which you can see here. So I'm just going to scale that up just to make it fit the screen size. So it's full screen size. Cut that around there. Let's see what else we've got. Looks quite nice. Bit of a golf course. You might want to have people playing golf. Right. Let's get it so when it's moving the drone, make it a little bit more dynamic. Still not. Let's move that across. Let's move it in a little bit more. Stop that about there. We're coming to the end, so let's see what we've got. Do I have enough footage? That footage looks terrible, to be honest. You can see the scan lines there. I'm not going to use that. So, no, sometimes it's a little bit hit and miss. Let's use that one. So that should stop around there. So I just want to make sure I'm getting this right. So that's how it finishes. What I might do is then use this one for the last shot, which would have the logo here, some text, basically with the website address, that type of thing. So let's just see how that plays out. I'm just going to cut that there, get rid of this, just to sort of see. So let me play the whole thing and see how that looks. So I think I want to have, there's two things I noticed there. I want to have something else in before this finishes, because I want that to finish on the last screen. This will probably need to be moved up where they go, hey, within the music. They do the shout. And the other one is this. I'm not happy with this one. It just sort of looks out of place. So let's just have a look. In fact, maybe use something like that. Could maybe work. That's just buildings. some more hills. I think maybe using this nice ocean shot may work. Oh, that could be near the end actually. That'll be a good one for near the end. So let me just put that here just now. And I am going to make it roughly the same length as that at the moment. So even though the music finishes here, it may still extend a little bit further to have some titles, etc. So I'm going to just stop it here and put that there. So if it's overlapping slightly, that doesn't matter. And then we'll get a little bit extra for, let's go to 40 seconds just now. We've got a little bit extra for some titles at the end. Because basically what you want to do is, especially if you're uploading something like this to YouTube, if you cut the titles off at the end very quickly, then YouTube will start displaying videos from other people and everything else. So you want to make sure you've got enough time at the end of your video to show your call to actions, your website addresses, that type of thing. Show that at the end for as long as you can, for at least 5 seconds, maybe a little bit longer, because if you don't do that, if you have it basically cutting it straight away within a second or two, you'll then get other suggestions from YouTube. On Facebook, it doesn't really matter, you won't get that, but again, you'll still get a screen saying, do you want to play again, if it's not on loop or anything like that. So it's always good to leave it a little bit extra at the end. So if you're doing a 60-second video, keep at least 5 seconds of that at the end to have your main call to action screen. So what I'm going to do is just cut there, get rid of this extra black, which we don't need at the moment. So I'm just going to see how that looks with that little sort of shorter cut before we go into the bit where the music does the people going, hey, and then goes into the final screen. So let's just have a look. So yeah, I don't quite like that. So let's just move that in a little bit because he was moving his hand there a little. Let's just play that again. Good. And then we're going to have the logo here, that sort of stuff. Okay, no, I like that. So I want to replace that video that I mentioned here, which was this one. I wasn't entirely happy with that. So let's see what other footage we have. We could use the one I was going to use, this one of the people walking. Let's see how that looks. You can actually have video just going on top of one another, so you don't need to delete this if you don't want to, and it'll still play the videos on top. But because I know what I'm doing, I'm just going to delete that just now. So let's just see how that looks. I don't mind that. Completely ideal. Again, we're using stock footage, so you might not get 100% of what you want, but I think for the purposes of what we're trying to do, this is completely fine. So that's just got up to a 40-second video. There's still other things we want to do to it, just to make it a little bit more exciting, a little bit more professional, etc., etc. So I'm just going to get rid of that audio that's in that one. And now we want to add logos, add text, do all that sort of stuff on top of it as well. So we are going to have text going all the way through it. And then we're going to have obviously a call to action screen. So what we're going to do is work on the call to action screen first to give us a better idea of what we want. So we have the client's logo. So we're just going to drop that at the top. You see there, that's at the top, just move it across. So this image is a PNG, so it's got a transparent background. So that allows us to, basically allows you to drop in an image and still see the video underneath. So as you can see there, the logo is looking good, obviously far too big. So what we're going to do is scale down using the scale tool here at side. And then we're going to move it across and move it up. Should we have it in the middle or shall we move it up? Yeah, because we want to add in a website address as well. So let's, decisions. So we could have it in the middle within the website underneath. No, I think we'll move it here. No, in fact, you know what? We're going to actually make it a little bit smaller and move it. I'm actually going to move it at the bottom. In fact, no, let's keep it in the middle because I want to add a title at the top. So I'm going to leave it there just now. But again, this may move. And then I'm going to add some text to it. So let me go into up in the sort of top left corner here. We have things like text, which is titles, generators. So under titles, you'll get, I have lots of different things installed. It comes with some preset ones as well. But I'm basically just going to search for a basic title. So I'm going to type in basic, and then you can see here, there's a basic title. So I'm just going to drag that on top of that, make it the same length. And you see here, you can barely see title because it's in white. So we're going to add some text to this, create a font, range it, or justify, range it in the right sort of areas, range it left, to that type of thing as well. So part of this is to promote Ireland for 2021. They'll get out, back outdoors, experience Ireland after all the lockdowns of COVID, all these sort of things as well. So that is what the premise of this whole campaign is for. So I'm going to type, just put in the text that we've got, so that the whole campaign is let loose after lockdown on the wild Atlantic way. So that's part of the text. So I'm just going to select that text, I'm going to make it bigger. We're going to move it in terms of in line with the logo, move it up. Obviously still can't see it properly. Let loose on the lockdown. I'm actually going to make that 2 lines. I'm going to make it range left again. Let's move it again back over. So I want to select a font that's going to make it a lot better than what it is actually there. Let me go into face. I'm going to change the colour from white. Maybe pick an orangey type colour that's similar to their logo. Maybe something like that. Or should we have it in green maybe? Let's try green. Let's go for a green like that just now. We can always change it. So I'll go for that colour just now. And then what we're going to do is just select a font. We might need to download a font, but I'm just going to look at the fonts I've already got installed on my machine on my Mac. So let's have a wee look, see what we think works. I might use 2 fonts. I don't know how this will look, but let me just go to that one there that we've just had. Perfect Moment, it's called. So what we can do is select the bottom one, make that bigger. I want to make the line spacing, or rather the tracking. In fact, it needs to select both as a line spacing. Move that up. Maybe change the top font to something a little bit different. Just a standard Helvetica. Let's go with Helvetica Bold. Make that smaller. Something like that maybe. Again, just play about with what you feel is going to work. So that's scale, that's like that. I don't mind that actually, I think that might actually works. So let me just bring that one. And then select this one. Make that just slightly bigger. So it's in line with the A here. Then select both. Line spacing, just tighten up the line spacing a little bit. And then just do the overall spacing. So I think something like that actually works. And then we want to add in the web address as well. So what I'm going to do is just duplicate, basically copy and paste this text that we've created. So we get another one right on top. And in this title, I'm just going to move it down so you can see. We may need to move it somewhere else. But if I take away that, and then we want to add in the customer's web address. So I'm just going to double check what the web address is. irishexperiencetours.com. I'm going to put that in here. Don't need the HTTPS stuff, it's just the actual main part of the domain name. What we might do is I might try something different for this to make that stand out a bit more. Well, but let's use this just now. We'll have a little look in a second. We're actually going to make this, let's see what it looks like in white. Make it bigger. Move it down a little bit. Move it into the rocks there. I'll need to move the logo down a little bit, make it a little bit more centered. And just to make this stand out a little bit more, let's see what it looks like with a glow around it. Let's make the glow black. Don't really see anything different. There we go, let's up the radius, the blur. Make it a little bit lighter, so just play about with the settings. So it makes it stand out a little bit more. Let's see, what does it look like with orange? We just want to make us stand out. So we can maybe do something like in the orange. A lighter orange. Because what I want to do is maybe just dull this down slightly, just so it's a little bit darker. So I'm going to select that footage and just turn the opacity down a little bit. But then the logo doesn't really stand out. No, I think we've got to keep it full opacity. That wasn't looking great at all. So it's actually looking not too bad. Let's take the logo, let's just move it down a little to maybe about there. So basically the E is pretty much in line with his head. So let loose after lockdown on the wild Atlantic way. Higher experience tours, and then the actual web address. So let's just play that and see what that looks like. Actually, I think that works quite well. Now you can see there we've got it still playing for a good 5 or 6 seconds at the end there, and then it's right at the end where the video actually stops, and that's where you would normally get YouTube videos flying up saying, hey, do you want to watch this now? And it could be any old crap really. So you just want to make sure you've got that stuff at the end. So we've got the video, we've done really simple edits in time with the music. We've added a shot at the end with some titles, a call to action with the web address, etc, etc. So we've got that there as well in terms of the logo, etc. So next thing we're going to do is add in a little bit of text throughout the video as well, just to highlight certain parts of the experience and the campaign and what we're trying to do. So let's go back and we'll just add in some text throughout the video. So the first thing we're going to do is just copy this text here so I can keep the same fonts, add that to the start, and I'll just put it over the 2 videos just now. That may change, but I'm just going to put it over the 2 videos just now. So if I go here, you can see that that's there. Now we have these bits of text that the sort of highlights of what the campaign is about. It's the ultimate perfect escape for 2021, ultimate green space escape for 2021. They just allow you to pay a small deposit of €99 with nothing to pay until 30 days before your tour starts. And it's really flexible as well, so it allows you to change the dates and the tours up to 2 times and 14 days before departure. So very flexible, trying to obviously compete with what's going on in the world just now with COVID. So I think this is a great way of highlighting something a bit different for a multi-day tour company, where they only have to pay a small deposit. So we're going to use some of this information in the video as well. So I'll copy this bit of text. I do like this with the ultimate green space escape for 2021. And I'm going to add that into here. I'll just add that into the text there and delete the bits I don't want. Just put that there so I can say. Now, obviously that's too long, so we're just going to alter this a little bit. So island, ultimate green space escape. Let's move that to there. Let's see how this works. Make it centered. I'm just going to take the text size down a bit. I'm going to then move it more central. I'm going to make it in the center. Possibly. That's hiding the building. So I might just keep it at the top for now. Let's try changing the color to white. Which does work. I may actually make the text size bigger. So let's just make this bigger. Just play around with the text until I'm happy. Let's see what that looks like. I'm just going to change some of the line spacing just to tighten up a little bit. Make it centered. Will centered work? I'll just put it just above that little building so you can see. Let's see how that plays out. Yeah, I'll maybe make it just more centered. Should be okay. I'm going to add a little drop down, or drop shadow rather, or a glow around that. So I'm going to make the glow black. Just up the blur, the radius, just blur it a little bit more. Just take the darkness down, but still make it stand out. So island is the ultimate green space escape for a 2021. No, we don't want a 2021, for 2021. Yeah, I think that works. So let me just play that at the start, just to sort of see what that looks like. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. So what I'm going to do is copy that and paste here. So we'll go over the next couple of videos, or a couple of clips rather. Let's take something else. Let's take the 99 deposit. So it's 99 euros. So we'll add in here, only pay a 99 euro deposit. Just make that one line. Make that centered. Just adjust it a little bit more. Let's see what that looks like now. Copy the text again. So basically with nothing to pay until 30 days before the tour starts. So let's do something about that. With nothing else to pay until, because it's a new line, I'll always put a capital letter, until 30 days before departure. Just going to make that a little bit more centered. Now, should I use the word departure? So, with nothing else to pay until 30 days before you arrive. Maybe be better. Because they could depart longer before they get to Ireland, so I just want to make sure we're covering ourselves. So let's just play that. Yeah, that works. Again, copy the text. So this is all about changing tour dates, etc. Even change tour dates. Just go back. So even change tour dates and itinerary. Again, it's made a capital A. Even change tour dates and itinerary up to 14 days before you arrive. Make that more centered again. Even change tour dates and itinerary before up to 14 days before you arrive. Okay, that works. Let's see how that plays out. We'll just play the whole thing now. This is a great thing about using Final Cut Pro. It allows you to edit real time and be able to see what's happening. So we just have some shots without text. You can see that. And that's when the music sort of slows down again, so we'll have some text at that point. Copy that there. I'll just call this Book Your Ultimate Ireland Escape 2021. Copy that text. Have a little bit here at the end, and we'll emphasize the point. It's only a €99 deposit. Deposit of only €99. I'm going to emphasize that and make that a little bit bigger. Make it centered. And then that leads into here. I think that works. What I might do is just change this little bit of text at the end. Let loose after lockdown on the Wild Atlantic Way for only €99. Let's bring that text down slightly. Let loose after lockdown on the Wild Atlantic Way for only €99. Deposit. Should really put deposit at the end of that. I may make it 3 lines. Let's move it up slightly. Maybe need to move the logo just to give it a little bit extra spacing. Let loose after lockdown on the Wild Atlantic Way for only a €99 deposit. Let me just check that. Will I change anything else? I might actually have in there the same text. So what I'm going to do is copy that, add that in there, delete that one, going to make that centered. I'm going to make it white. I will put the glow around it again. So show, hit the glow, add in some white. Black rather, not white. And just make that blur slightly more. Take the opacity down. The whole thing does need to get bigger, but let me just do this just now. And let me move these text size up a bit more. That one is fine the way it is. Let me just tighten that up a little bit. Just want to make sure it's centered. Or do we have it like that because the guy is walking in? Let's just have a look. No, we'll make it centered. Something around there. Okay, let's play the whole thing and see how that looks. Yeah, so there was a space there needs to go in between escape and 4. I think that looks good. I'm happy with that. So that's us got our landscape video. As you can see there, just very easy straight cuts, just dropping in the stock footage or if it's videos that you've recorded as well, just dropping them in, making it and go in time with the music, makes it more professional looking, in time with the beat, just straight cuts, some text over the top, and very easy to put together, no dropping in your logo and everything else. No, and that doesn't take a long time to edit, as you've seen there, and obviously I would actually do this quicker, or it does get quicker the more you do these type of videos. I'm obviously trying to show you this as I'm editing it in this workshop, but hopefully you can see that that's quite an easy process to edit something together. So what we're going to do is we're going to export this in landscape just to have a quick look at it. So what we do is go up to File, and we'll share, and we're just going to share an MP4 version of it just at the moment, which makes it a small size but still good quality, just for us to just take a look at. So I'm just going to hit next and save this down to my desktop. Now if you're exporting for YouTube, I would usually say no master file, which is the highest quality you can get, and uploading that into YouTube, or at the very least you want something like an Apple devices 1080p if you're using Final Cut Pro, obviously, or even go direct to YouTube as well. But a master file, exporting that is going to give you the highest quality, and then you can upload that into YouTube. But for things like Facebook and that sort of stuff, an MP4 is more than adequate. So that is exporting. So that should have exported. So let's go into my desktop. There it is here. So let me just play that and see how that looks. I think that works rather well. And it's, again, only using stock footage. The most that we spent is €30 on the music. And it's just quickly editing that together, using straight cuts, using the tools that we have here, adding in text, and we've already got a promotional video. So that's in landscape, which we can use on a website, or you can use it on things like Facebook ads and things like that as well. But we tend to prefer using square video. So we want to make this a square video now. So what I'm going to do is the project I'm going to duplicate. So you can basically right click and say duplicate project. It's okay to create another one, and I'm just going to rename this square. Okay, so we now have the square version. Now for this to work, you have to, or the best way of doing this first is to select all your videos and then make what's called a compound clip. So what this does is it puts all your clips together into one sort of big clip, and that allows you to then scale it up and down, which you'll see why that's important in a minute. Just makes it a little bit more flexible, but you can still click into it and edit the individual elements as well. But it just allows you to edit it in one go. So if I could do a new compound clip, just hit OK, rename it the same. You can see here that's just one big clip now. So again, this allows us to scale up and down the full thing if we wanted to. That will scale everything in that clip rather than you having to do it all individually. But if I double click on this, I can still edit the individual elements as well. So this is what's great about Final Cut Pro. It gives you this flexibility. So I'm on this project. So I want to change the dimensions. So I'm going to go into modify and make it square. And I want to make it a 1080 by 1080 square. Still keep it at 24 frames per second. And the thing about making it square is the video size will scale down to fit. So this is why making that compound path or compound clip is better. So that we can just scale it back up again and then readjust things as well. And the text will need to be readjusted as well. So let's just do this, make it square. And just make sure that's fitting in. So the box, you can't really see here, but the box there, let me see if I can actually show you. So you can see there's the square video. You can see that the text is obviously not fitting. No, the video is a lot smaller because it's trying to fit within the square space. And you can see there by me just adding in the show titles, etc., etc. So I'm just going to hide all this sort of stuff just now and the horizon. So that's just going to, so you can see it's square here, but we need to do a lot of readjusting. So the first thing I'm going to do is just select the clip and scale it up until it fits the square. I'm just going to bring the view down slightly so I can see the full thing. And you can see there's a scale just to get rid of the black bars. That should be enough. And then I'm going to go back to the beginning and just make sure all the video, just scrub along the video, just to make sure all the clips within that video fits within the space. Now you can see there the man doesn't walk on because he hasn't walked on in time. So we'll come back to that. So I'm just scrubbing along just to make sure the whole video fits within the space. That one there, people need to walk along. Okay, it's all looking good. So obviously the text needs to be sorted. We'll probably sort that a little bit at the end there as well. So I'm going to go back to this clip because this is one where the man walks on, but we can't see him because he's obviously off shot. So because I'm here, if I just double click, you can see here I'm in this shot, right, goes to where that shot is. And I'm actually just going to, it may look a little bit odd here, but I'm actually just going to move this across. So I'm going to go into the position, get the right one, and move that across. You know, it doesn't matter if the black bars are at the sides. So if I go back, you see there's a man there. It's still within the square space. We're not going to see that black bar. So if he comes on and he starts walking in, goes to the next shot, they're dancing, that's fine. Now there's a shot there as well of people walking. So I'm going to add that in, select that one. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to move it in this way to see if we can bring the people into the shot. There we go. And let me just scrub along. Looks fine. All looks good. And then at the end, I'm going to look at this clip. So what do I want to do with him? I maybe want to move him over slightly to the left. Let's just take that. Move him over a little bit to the left. Let's see how that looks. Happy with that there. So he's a little bit more in shot. And then it's readjusting the text. So I'm going to select the text. And it's basically taking the text size down. Fixing the leading, spacing between the text. Going to make it a little bit more centered. What you can do if you want to make sure it really is centered, you can go into View and Show Horizon. And this will put the horizon space. You can see that it's actually slightly above center. So if you make that round about there, that is pretty much bang on. And I'm going to check these ones. These ones obviously need to come down. I'm going to select that text first. That goes there. I'm going to select the top text. Just bring that down a little bit. Let's fix some of the leading. And the leading is basically space in between lines. Leading comes from the old print methods of the leading. You had lead letters, and the leading was a bit of lead that you put in between the letters to create that space. So I'm just going to make this more centered and bring it down. Obviously, we've got text, 3 lines of text, so I've made that there. Roughly happy with that. Let's go on to the next bit of text. Select, text size down. Fix the leading. Okay, just readjust, make little adjustments to make it fit within the square space. Select this text. Okay, and then center it. Needs to move over slightly. And bits of text near the end. And again, just making small adjustments, just making sure the text all fits within the square space. We'll do the next one. Happy with that. Just readjust it slightly. And then we've got the last screen at the end where obviously things need to be adjusted a bit more. So I'm going to select the web address. Let's bring that in a little bit more. Probably make that more centered. I'm going to get the logo. Let's see how that looks. It could probably be a bit bigger as well. I'm just going to scale that up slightly. Move it up a little bit actually. Let's try and make that a bit more centered. I'm going to move it along just so it's in line with the start of the I in Irish and the domain name. And then the text above, let's move that along as well. I'll select the right one. And we're just going to bring the main text down a little bit to fit in. Top one down slightly. Just going to make the leading a little bit bigger. Select 2 lines for that. Okay, make that a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm just going to hide that little horizon. So all the text fits in. Let loose after lockdown on the Wild Atlantic Way for only €99 for only a €99 deposit. Irish Experience Tours, and then the domain name. So we've got all the text to fit in. I'm just going to do one last scrub just to make sure everything is fine. Video all fits in within the square space. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So let's just do one play of that. I'm really happy with that. That looks good. That's the square one done. So we're going to File, Share, and create the MP4 of that as well. Just going to save that down to my desktop just now. Hit Save. So we have both the landscape version and a square version. And you can see there how easy it was just to convert one to the other, make it square for the for Facebook, etc. You can see if I click the little taskmaster, you can see it's still sharing. It'll give you an idea of how long it's taking. And that's that done. Let's go back. Should be on my desktop, which is here. Let me just hide this text. And I'm going to play the square version and see what that looks like. Really happy with that. I think that looks good. So we have both landscape square version, which we can use in Facebook ads. And I hope that this showed you that you don't need to be scared of this type of software. No, it's intuitive, it's very easy to use. No, whether using Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere or iMovie or any of the other softwares that you can get for editing video. And we'll have a list of some of the recommended ones below. It's easy to put together, no, just with having some footage, either you've taken yourself on an iPhone, on a camera, or if you're using stock footage, what I have done here. It's easy to put a little promotional ad together. Just spend an hour putting it together, finding the materials, purchasing the music that you can use, and then for as little as $30, you can literally, in some time, you can literally have a promotional video that you can use on any sort of platform, whether it's YouTube, whether it's your website, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, and any other social media platform you can think of. It is a great way to highlight your product, highlight your messaging. Video is hugely important in marketing. People who watch video process the information 60,000 times faster than they do in written form. So always have written material, which is good for SEO and for people who do want to read that information, next to video as well. So both of them combined can make a very powerful marketing tool. So hopefully this showed you that you don't need to be scared of using these sort of tools. You can easily create a video for your business, really in a relatively short space of time. So let me know how you get on, or show me how you've put things together, show me your examples, and I'll be happy to offer any advice I can on that. But hopefully that just that helps you out on how to use editing software like Final Cut Pro. This episode of the Digital Tourism Show was brought to you today by Rentrax, fully customizable rental management systems for tour operators. You can book your free demo at rentrax.com.